and having his cover of What Up Girl.
Can you speak closer to the mic? So all the people can hear also.
Right. So what was it like meeting Javi at Anime Expo, and what did you think of his cover for One Up Girl?
Ooh, okay, so Javi, okay. Some context. Javi is a channel called Javi the Hong, and he makes amazing toy reviews of Figmas and other kinds of figurines, and I've been following his channel for a long time. And since we started to follow each other, we've been talking, and I told him like, hey, I'm coming to Anime Expo, and I saw that you're also coming to Anime Expo, and we wanted to meet. So we hung out, and it's very nice. I gave him some advice because he has like an ambition to become a voice actor, so I helped him. So again, if you don't know who he is, I recommend it even if you don't care about toys or toy reviews or whatever. Check Joby the Hung, he's super funny. Now, regarding to the other question about his cover, he's really good. He's a really good singer. Like, I think he's a potential to try something out with me at some point. Like, I have ideas to do something with him, but he's a great singer and he has a lot of potential. I really liked it. So yeah, he's awesome. Thank you so much for bringing him up. He's a great guy. Thank you also for the question.
No problem.
Cool.
Also, DA, which song did you have more fun making? Build Up Our Machine or Gospel of Dismay?
I think because Build Our Machine took like 15 hours.
15 years.
It only took good. Years later, I finally come up with Electric Swing when I was born. Build Our Machine, because it went by so fast, it was like 15 minutes. And I didn't really have much time to like process it. It was my first Electric Swing. Gospel of Dismay was my most fun because I spent a whole month just experimenting with what I've got, changing a lot of things around, adding new. Plus, it was also like a character basis song, so I had a lot of chance to put voice acting in there, etc., in my own continuum. And from that, a lot of people seem to have stemmed on and done their own covers and their own little interpretations. So it's kind of stormed something in a way. So Gospel of Dismay is my most fun one.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah,
for the
thank
question.
you. Sweet. Oh man.
Hello there.
Hello. Just some questions for Tombstone.
Yo.
Have you ever thought about doing collabs with other like music YouTubers?
Yeah, all the time. I mean, let's see. It was in the canon right now. I already mentioned DA Games that I still want to collab with them on a proper song at some point. And I'm always extending my arm to always try other people that I haven't gotten to meet yet. So right now, I'm really trying my hardest to like work with people. I don't know. It's kind of like how do I answer this? It's like there's a lot of people that are right now in the canon that I'm trying to like push them to work with me on stuff. Like Dan Bull, for example, is someone that I'm trying to get like a proper song going on.
I got you covered, fam.
And it's very difficult to work with him because he's so busy, and so on the other people that I'm trying to get to do stuff. But again, there's a lot of people I'm talking to and working with, but I don't want to like jinx it by talking because right now it's only talking basis, and I don't want to say, oh, I'm gonna work with him and destroy everything. So right now it's kind of like in the down low. So hope that that's a good question. I'm sorry it's so vague. It's just there's a lot of people and a lot of different people I'm working with at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much for the question.
So much.
You're great.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Hi.
You can lower the mic, It's all good.
How are you guys?
Really good. Well, sorry about that.
I drank some Starbucks.
I'm actually dying.
Buy some Starbucks.
Oh yeah, we just got Starbucks earlier.
Yeah, we got Starbucks.
You
And we
guys
ate
do
food at
hot
Starbucks. And I really recommend if you go to Starbucks. Actually, I have an app called the Starbucks Reward Program, and it gives you extra points for every time you drink Starbucks.
You guys do hot dogs at your Starbucks over there.
Yeah.
We never do that.
If you eat hot dogs in Starbucks every time, we'll get free points, so it's a win-win.
I'm moving over here. This is a much better country.
Why did we dwell to this? What's up? Is that a question?
No, I just said hashtag got sponsored.
Hashtag got sponsored, hashtag dab.
I am devoted to Monster. It's okay.
Yeah. Alright. So is that a question or?
No, I was just making a little comment. I don't know if anyone heard me.
It's alright. It's okay. Snowy, is that everything or?
Yeah. If I have a question, I'll give mine.
It's alright.
You.
What person in your life inspired you to do what you do?
What person inspired us to do what we do?
To do videos in general?
My parents. That, honestly, if I'm gonna be really honest, it is my parents. Like, I just drew when I was younger, and it was like, I watched many, many cartoons on TV. Legit, that is all I used to do. And my parents would be very picky. They'd look at exactly what we wanted, like we watched and enjoyed, and just threw all the tools at us. So basically, like, I would always watch cartoons, so she threw a MacBook at me, and she threw like a graphics tablet and everything, so I'd always draw. I hate graphics tablets. I don't know, everybody else has a different experience, but I can never do it, so I throw it and use either a laptop trackpad or a mouse, because I'm very unorthodox. But yeah, I have to thank my parents, really.
I have to say, people who inspired me the most, I think, are the community in Newgrounds. Because, you know, in my experience, my parents, they respected the fact that I was like, you know, I had my own ambition and I wanted to be on the computer all day. They saw a lot of the stuff that I did as video games, so it's like, even if it was music creation, it was, oh, you're playing video games, stop playing video games. But because Newgrounds was just filled with a lot of weirdos and people who were like, you know, doing what they were doing because they loved it, and they didn't really give any crap about anyone. So to me, it was a really big, like, like pump of like, of like motivation and slightly bit of arrogance, to be honest, because it's always about, believing in your ideas more than anyone else's, and then just pushing them forward. And that's what I did since I was like 13, just did my own thing until I grew up enough to like accumulate all this experience to do my own thing. And I think that's kind of like, having people like that is important. So that what helped me a lot in the beginning.
Wherever Snowy's gone. Hi. That was your question. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
What was your what song did you guys have most fun making?
The most fun in our entire lives.
I guess I'll start this time.
Yeah, well, no, you start, because...
Thank you for the question, by the way. All right, so I think the Final Fantasy Freddy's sister location song, this "I Can Fix You," I had so much fun, and I'll give you a bit of a background. And for those who know this, is that up until this point, I was working with up to 4 people at a time. It was me, a video artist, and 1 or 2 more people singing or something like that. And I Can Fix You had over 10 people working on one video, on one song together. And that was scary, because I was like, maybe having other people involved is not a good idea, because I thought people are coming for my ideas and my creations. But then when I realized that if you bring different blood to the project, then it helps people like it more, because it's different perspective all dwelling into one. And it's still my ideas in the end of the day. So that was the most exciting time I've ever had to like work on a song, because I was like, oh my god, so many people helping, and this is great. And it's also because, Final Fantasy Freddy's is special to me, because this is where I got a lot of people in, knowing me and knowing my music. And I remember that when I finished I Got No Time, I was like, that was a lot of fun to make, but then it also didn't feel like a song that like, because at the time I said, this is the last one, this is gonna be the last song. And I wasn't so certain about that, so I realized that if I am gonna make a last song, this cannot be it, because it doesn't feel like I respect the fans that came from Final Fantasy Freddy's to me, because to me it feels really like a cheap, cheap ending, because it's like, no, I have to really pull out the big guns and do something really special and really big if it is gonna be the last song I'm gonna do about Final Fantasy Freddy's. And I did. And I'm so happy a lot of you guys enjoyed it, and I'm so happy that my effort and the time and money that I put into this definitely helped it out. So thank you everyone for listening to it, and I want to thank the people who worked with me on this to help me with it. Shout out to Crusher P, Custom Phase, who else? Futilla and Pedro Calvo and crap, I'm forgetting people's names, but these are definitely a lot of the many main people that helped me with this, so thank you.
As far as my favorites, it's a cross between Hello Neighbor and what else was there? It was on the tip of my tongue. Dream On. It was my Asriel Dreamer song for Undertale. Basically, because Asriel Dreamer's one was like, I'd done 2 Undertale songs previously, and it was like, okay, one was Genocide, which was just like an all-out brawl and everything, and then one was Pacifist, which was forced. I was forced to make one. Whereas afterwards, I was like, okay, I can't end on this, so I need a really good neutral. So I thought, well, how about we go out and kick out with one of my favorite characters, Asriel. And I was listening to this song like on the plane constantly. They kind of like reminisced the song, and I'm like, yeah, this is fun to do. So I had a lot of chances like changing bars, rhythms, pitches, all that stuff, and just really trying all the effects in FL Studio. Is a good one. Hello Neighbor, simply because it was the first time I had like an accordion VST, and I was sort of like, what a lot of people that Hello Neighbor did was that they made it more of a horror story, and they made it more in the eyes of you're a person as a character. Whereas I took a chance, as soon as I saw the neighbor's chin, I immediately thought Buzz Lightyear from Toy Story. So I'm just like, this has got to be a comedy. And it's not even scary anyway, it's like more of a comedy to me. So like, I put it in the accordion, and it was a very interesting one to take from the neighbor's perspective of it. So yeah, those 2 ones are my favorites.
Ooh, thank you so much for the question. That's awesome. That's awesome. Sweet.
Hola.
Hey,
Oh,
hola.
Shalom. Shalom.
¿Ustedes hablan español?
Sí.
I'm just kidding.
¿Qué?
No español, no.
I asked if you guys speak Spanish.
¿Por qué? ¿Por qué?
Porque sí.
It's a sentence.
Sorry, tell me.
Okay, I have a question before I get my question, I just want to say, DA Games, me and my brother love your music so much.
Yeah, boy.
And
I love
love your Tombstone as well. We're both huge fans, and my brother is the one in the Mario Odyssey hat.
Yo.
I love that remix, by the way.
Yo, thank you. Thank you.
Also, DA Games, I don't know if you remember that you did that Five Nights at Freddy's marathon stream that you did.
Yeah, I did.
Thank you for the shout out. I was my lovely shadow.
You were? Oh my god. Hey.
Yo, shout out person discovered. Shout out person confirmed for Smash.
Was it the same one where I got like the nose sort of patented makeups like when I died?
Oh no, yeah, it's that one.
It was that one, yeah, thanks Chloe. She's the one who did that. Basically, as a quick summary, every time I died in a game, there'd be more makeup put on my face. And since my nose was such a large canvas, yes, I got the Pro Jared nose. But it's a proud nose. There's nothing bad about it. But the idea being is, I was so close. I only just started one of the nights and I died, and she was about to draw. I was like, no, wait, that didn't count. How about I play just this night, and if I die, then you get to draw more on me. So I died. So then she drew all sorts of stuff on me, and it was crazy. Then 1, 2, 3 Slaughter Me Street 2 came out, and we decided to play that instead. So it's great.
My question is, if you guys watch Rick and Morty, what is your favorite episode?
Ooh.
Pickle Rick!
Pickle Rick was really good, but you know what my favorite is?
I like the improv TV shows ones.
Improv TV shows are really good, but I tell you my favorite one, Pickle Rick is actually not the best choice, but I think the last one that came up with with them getting detoxed was really good. And I'm talking from the perspective that they finally answered some big questions that I'm not gonna spoil because I'm thinking there's some people who are probably waiting for the season to end so you can binge watch. So without spoiling, they finally confirmed something, and it makes me very happy because it's finally a season where they can finally open up with Rick and Morty and explain who they are as people. And the big message of that episode is that the bad parts of you are maybe parts that you want to get rid of, but that also what makes you a person as a whole and makes you happier. So that was a very cool message to have in a Rick and Morty episode, that bad things can make you a better person, in you.
You always have really good morals. So for raunchy
If you notice that, it's like, I think the way they write Rick and Morty is Dan Harmon and Justin Roiland. It's like Dan Harmon is like, okay, we need to think of very intricate ways to involve them in some way because we need to explore time and space and maybe we can involve like psychology into it. And Justin Roiland's like, hey, look at me, I'm Starbucks. Hey, look at me, I'm a Starbucks cup. And
that's literally all it is. They just shoot stuff in the whiteboard.
I'm Starbucks. I am the mermaid. Yeah, look at me.
I'm Pepsi, dude. And Pepsi wins the race.
And somehow then Harmon has to like keep them collected and be like, okay, if you're gonna be Starbucks cup, we need to come up with an interesting way to make him, like open up or something. And Justin is like still like, oh, Starbucks cup. It's them fighting with like it's like left and right brain fighting. It's so interesting.
Come on, we gotta pitch that. Alright.
They probably thought of that and they said, no, this is too Justin Welland for us.
If it comes up in the future episodes of Rick and Morty, I'm gonna laugh.
This is like an easy way to do a Justin Welland impression. Just pick anything that you have in your hand and be like,
Hey, it's me, I'm Sharpie Man, hey! I'm 3/4 full, man. And now I'm dead.
And it's like, yeah.
that's Justin Welland. Hopefully that answers your question.
Yes, that's
Yes.
Alright, thank you.
I enjoyed that question.
Alright, I just want to say that Pepsi sucks, Coke is a better drink.
This is true, but it's the only one available. I have to tolerate my life.
Pepsi sucks, Coke rules.
Pepsi sucks, Coke sucks. Monster for the win!
No, Red Bull, shut up.
I believe we have a discussion.
5 hour energy.
Talk about this later. Shaking.
How about instead of Monster, get some Starbucks? Or Tim Hortons? Okay, sorry.
Sorry. First off, DA Games, I want to thank you for this song that you made. It's Heart of an Artist.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that song so much. It opened me up even more from the
that's
show I've been
amazing.
writing. And here is my question: what object would be the most annoying to hear in an upbeat music, excluding instruments?
The most annoying thing to hear? Like, item. Wait, what?
Like an item.
An item. My voice.
But
I have my own
that's
worst critic.
that's any upbeat music,
I have my own
right?
worst critic.
That's any upbeat music.
Any upbeat music.
Oh wow. Okay, so it's a trend that started because of Diplo and Skrillex, where that Justin Bieber song like "Where Are You Now When I Need
Oh,
You."
yeah.
So now they have there's this like weird
yeah.
like clong sound that's now appearing in every stupid
I
song.
hate the combination of acoustic guitars and xylophones. It's like Kickstarter music, basically. Apple commercial music. It's like obnoxious.
It's so ironic that like corporate giants are using this song to seem appealing to millennials and stuff. Yeah, I went there.
It's like you could put anything behind it. Just tired of your old phone. I'm just like,
It's like, hey, we're producing a new Starbucks product, and it's a product, an app. Pretend you're the ukulele. Make ukulele sounds. Make ukulele sounds.
what?
Make ukulele sounds. Hello, hi everybody. This is a new app product for Starbucks called "Give Us Your Money." We're demanding $1 million, and we'll give them to charity, but in reality, we'll just save it for us because no one cares. Download their app now. Scan this QR code. Stop. We hate corporate giants. Buy Starbucks.
We're trying to have fun here.
Thank you for the question.
So this is for DA Games.
Hi.
Hi. So when you wrote like Heart of an Artist and As the Lights Go Out, did it kind of feel good to express your emotions to your fans?
Very, very, very good. I always like to vent in numerous ways. If anybody follows my Twitter, I'm so sorry. But as far
Follow
as
his Twitter. It's at DA Games, right?
at DA Games Official.
At DA Games Official.
No, I'm kidding. But as far as original songs, like I've always found that music is a great expressive way to like say your words, especially with the fact that so many people nowadays care so much about the subject matter rather than like just the game itself. I mean, there's still a few comments that I think that's the most irritating one. It's like I have an original song called "Draw the Line" as well. And it's funny about the amount of people just like, draw the line, draw, is that bendy? And it's like, that was the thing that I made an animus about, but then Gospel of Dismay came out that piece. That's brilliant. But as far as every one of my original songs, they've always come from a really close place. And when I was doing As the Lights Go Out, it's actually the first song I actually cried singing. Because I really needed to get it out of my system. Then I took a long hiatus, and now I'm back in the game and all that. So I just listened to it. There you go. My pen flew up. There you go. And then let's see if we can do this.
What?
So getting back to sentimental. But yeah, they definitely are a great expressive way to get your stuff out there. And you know, you just got to climb everything to the top, essentially.
Stop it! It's like kindergarten all over again. Stop playing with my stuff.
Sentimental value always matters in music, basically, to me. I could write a vent on Twitter, words might get across. I could shout at my family, I could get across, but I think there's a more articulate way of expressing yourself through music if you can find the right vibe. So if you've got an aggressive song, I mean, well, you're not going to make acoustic ukulele xylophone. I am upset. It's like, you know, that's, yeah. But very nice to hear that. Thanks for the question, by the way. That's awesome.
Thank you. Keep on venting because you almost made me cry as the lights go out.
Aw, man, I was really hug you also.
Sorry for disrupting the question. I'm so sorry.
I'll hug you later. I'll hug you. Yes.
Don't hate me. Anyway, it's me six time.
He's like, no, it's me six. Anyways, what made you guys want to stick with YouTube for a living? Like,
Because there's no other alternative.
I mean, let's be real here. YouTube makes money, okay? But Twitch also makes money. But in reality, I think it also has to do with the fact that YouTube kind of like opened doors for like a lot of people who wanna do stuff independently. Because without YouTube, it would have been very hard to like keep that as a living. I mean, I already mentioned like Newgrounds, and Newgrounds was not a place to make money. People literally made stuff on Newgrounds because they just could, but they never thought of the money phase to it. And the second YouTube came in, they had idea of like, you know, earning money as a goal, and that's why a lot of people from Newgrounds moved to YouTube because of that. But again, having this option now is finally so good because it means that we don't need to really answer for anybody, and we can make songs that we like about stuff that we like. Because I don't think that if it was, let's say it was an alternative universe, can you see us being part of a label and writing 5 Minutes of Freddy songs? Can you imagine how hard it would be to like answer to someone about this thing? Mm-hmm. My point is that being independent and doing these things makes a lot of people happy that these things, you know, exist to make us be who we are and everything, and still, you know, make a living from it and everything.
Yeah. I mean, because as far as like YouTube's features may be broken, and yes,
yeah, we can complain about YouTube from start to finish, but it's only
monetization is also difficult as well. But ultimately, again, we came from backgrounds where it was either impossible to earn it, or if it was possible, it was really difficult to earn it. So we always just did it for the community because, I mean, YouTube has essentially opened up a lot of doors, so we could complain about the lack of money, but the views overall, kind of like, we've managed to impress so many people. And just by even just one smile, we could take a sub count of like, right now I have 900K, you have 2 million, right?
2 million point five.
We take those as not a stature, but more or less we've impressed that many people.
That was so arrogant.
That means so much to us in the first place. And it's like, I've always gone with the first thing, if you make one person smile, you can make many others smile. Then it's just constantly finding your fan base and not feeling pressured to have to delve into something super fast. It's not a competition, it's not a race. And I think YouTube's very spoiled in a way. There's a lot of people like vloggers and all these like...
Yeah, I mean, there's different crowds for different things, and
because neither way is wrong or right. I think the wrong way to do it is if you lie about your motives, essentially. You could do it for the money, which is fine. You could do it for passion, but the moment you lie to you...
Well, my take from YouTube is that as long as you make something that doesn't make people, like I said before, doesn't make people feel like they're wasting their time, is good by me. Because the good thing about YouTube, I mean, we're speaking from the creative side, but I think it's also really cool that you guys get to see our stuff for free, and we still can, you know, earn from it basically. And we're not asking for anything, we're just asking, just watch our stuff. And
the fact you do watch us is
yeah, that's a big point to it. And I think that's why we stuck to YouTube for so long, and hopefully we'll stick to YouTube for so long, because it's such an amazing website, despite of how many people like to complain about it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Please clap.
Hello there. How you doing?
Doing good. My question for you is, well, if you do have an exact process, I guess you can call it, but what actually inspires or gives you the ideas to create either remix or complete remixes or completely original content?
Okay, so I don't know, it's with remixes it's very easy. I listen to like a piece of wording or something. So let's say the Alex Jones one, I listen to a whole thing. And I have like this perfect rhythm in my head, so like if I hear that the song sounds like, well, the way he's saying it sounds perfectly in beat, I'm just like, I start tapping my fingers a bit, and I'm just like, oh, wait, I could put this in FL Studio, so then I just build around it. As far as original songs, I like to hum as like a nervous twitch, like, I get very anxious, so I always hum stuff in my head, and then I'll wait till I get to bed, because like I'll have something resonating in my head, and what I'll do is, I hate forgetting stuff when I wake up. It's like my common curse. I could have like the best idea in the universe, and I go to sleep, it's all forgotten. Whereas now I actually I take my phone and I'll start humming stuff into it and making a beat pattern, and so then I'll sleep on it. If I wake up and I still enjoy it, then I'll definitely continue it. But if it's worth forgetting, then I'll either leave it in a memory bank to the side and fix for later, because I never truly cancel anything, or I'll just forget about it. But I'll always like to savor the best melodies, so that, as soon as I've got that, then it's like, I'll always start from an original song. I'm like, okay, is there a new game that's out that could fit this sort of criteria? So then I'll go find that game, and when the game comes, it's like, if I enjoy equally that game, then I know what to do with it. And the two clash together. I've got a big criteria. If I like the game and I also have a really good vibe for it, then I'll clash and I'll make something great. But that's the problem with me, is I take a really long time to figure that out. So as long as the savor comes out of it, then yeah, that's how I make it, basically. You have a process?
Yeah. It's called making music. Have you heard about that one?
Be more extensive.
I'll make my answer short, because actually it's like 5:48, and we try to have the people also behind you to answer the questions. So I'll explain as detailed as I can, as quickly as I can. So the way I come up with songs is that since like 2012 almost, so I have like a voice memo app on my phone, and sometimes during the day an idea would strike me, and I would just hum a melody to my phone like this along. Let me demonstrate, because it's cool to demonstrate, and I might come up with something. Who knows? See this? Click this one. Then. Did I click finish? And then I save it, and then I would sometimes forget about it. But then I would save it to Dropbox, and I would like put it in my song ideas bank, where it's all a bunch of melodies that I think would work in some way. And almost every song that I wrote started from that voice bank. For like Five Nights at Freddy's, it came from 3 different song melodies that I wrote down like that. One of them from 2012, one of them from like 2015 or something like that, and one of them from like 2013. And I just used them all in the song. And No Mercy is the same way. I Can Fix You is the same way. A lot of songs like that. And this is a process for me, because what happens is that, I would forget about them, but if I listen to that same melody like 5 years later, and I'm like, this is good, because even if it held up 5 years ago, it means that it's still gonna work now. And that's how I work when it comes to, coming up with these songs. And regarding everything else, production-wise, I just take a lot of patience and a lot of frustration on the program I use to make music, FL Studio, to just learn and just like, why is the program crashing, and just work as much as I can to make the song happen, because it's, for me, knowing that in the end of the line something cool that I made would come out of it is the best feeling in the world, no matter how much frustrating it is to make music.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right, we have 10 minutes, so we'll try our best to let everyone ask their questions.
Okay. DA Games, I gotta ask you one question before I answer my real question.
Okay.
Papyrus or Rick?
Papyrus.
Sans?
I'm afraid we're in a bypass.
Sans, listen to me, Sans. Listen to your Papyrus. Your jokes. Listen to bones. On your phones. Meat.
I'm a Papyrus. I never know about this.
That's prison.
I don't know.
Okay.
Papyrus, can't you say you're being
I'm
like
sorry,
a very
but-
hard bone to pick with you?
I'm sorry, but Rick. No, after that, Rick. That's me.
Good choice. Yeah.
Alright,
Anyways, my real question is, what's your favorite video game so far?
Video game, Bubsy, but no. I almost got you there. Oh, I just almost got. Right now, it's Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle, surprisingly. Like I thought I would hate it because it's Rabbids, and we all know how much of a travesty that's caused with Rayman. It's almost ruined. It's almost ruined Rayman. Whereas Mario and Rabbids, it's like think XCOM but cute. And it's quite funny actually. Like they've never really had like a character basis. Like they've never really had jokes in a way. It's all just been slapstick, just like jumping on bricks and stuff. But they actually have articulate humor in it, which is a solid for me. So yeah, that one. Good choice.
Yeah, boy.
Also, because Luigi dabs. That caused a storm, and that was great. Hey.
Hello.
Hey.
I gotta say, he loves Rapper's Kingdom, and he's the one that said chug or whatever.
This is fine.
Like,
sorry.
No, it's cool.
I've gotta say, like, when I saw your videos of Draw the Line and When the Lights Go Out, that just hit my heart really.
That means a lot. Thank you very much for that.
Because I'm an artist, like, for digital art and design, and I just know what it feels.
Yes, this is relatable teens. That's not what teens do. They're normally like this. Anyway.
I gotta say, like, what really, like, inspired you, like, for doing music and art, like, anything, really, and how did you get on YouTube?
Oh, how did I get on YouTube? Well, I found out because everybody left Newgrounds, so I just went there. It's kind of like when everybody said what inspired you to start YouTube, I was like, well, everybody left Newgrounds. So, no, but honestly, what got me into music, I don't know, like, I was always next to a piano, and I always used to have, like, twiddly fingers. And I always used to listen to so many different styles of music, and I went from, like, listening to things like Aqua and S Club 7 and all that, to being a metalhead and watching System of a Down and Killswitch and all that stuff. So I went through a broad stage of life where I saw my brothers doing a lot of stuff, like playing guitar, drums, and all that stuff. So I would easily follow on. And they stopped their pursuit in instruments, and I just continued. So like I always covered other songs, like in my spare time. I always used to know like the melody to the Alton Towers theme or the Rugrats or Simpsons theme on the piano. And then I'd be like, oh, let's turn it into a metal song. And so Simpsons metal, that never went out there. I'm gonna try and recreate it. But yeah, I just kind of like just kept doing that for a while. And I was bullied throughout every single day of my school life, like in sort of the high school days. No, don't worry, I don't blame them. But as far as when it got to like the last year of school, on the very last day there was like a whole performance, and I just made my very first song. It's actually on my channel, it's called Imagination. What you're hearing on that channel is the remake rather than that, which was, we went to the assembly and I basically played that. I went from being bullied to being one of the most liked kids in school. So that set my pavement. I was like, all right, now I know my calling. It's not cartoons. I mean, it could be. I could bring that back. But it's like
being prom queen.
It's being a prom queen. I got the dress and everything.
Finally, I got my music and my dress, and I'm ready to rock and roll.
My dad will buy me a sweet 16 car.
All right. You got 5 minutes, by the way. So
Yes.
sorry.
Well, thank you for that. That means a lot.
No more Lego Fight Will.
Yeah.
I kind of have a minor question